2021 so far has been a very happening year in terms of global politics. With the Taliban taking control over Afghanistan, many people started to question the superpower status of the USA. The closest competitor to the US in terms of both economic and strategic markers is the People's Republic of China. Both the US and China spend a lot on their defense, but the USA is known for spending more money than any other country on the planet. In the fiscal year of 2021, the US approved a defense budget of a whopping $753.5 billion. However, China's defense budget for the same year is $209.16 billion. The dependency of triumphing simply does not only lie on the shoulders of how much money a country spends on its military, it depends on numerous other factors. For example, technology, facilities, and manpower. The current population of the United States is around 333.5 million, while the current population of China is around 1.445 billion, which gives the Chinese military a huge edge in terms of manpower. In terms of military personnel, the Chinese military is almost double the size of the US military. With the amazing manpower China possesses, it can simply outnumber the US soldiers if an all-out war happens, as more people will be available to produce more weapons, replenish casualties, and fight, which would be vital for the Chinese. Since both the countries are split apart a far distance, likely the war between them will not commence on land. So it is important to analyze both the air and water strengths of both countries. The US Air Force has around 5,369 military aircrafts, whereas the Chinese has around 3,010. But these numbers are prone to change as new planes are continuously being manufactured and older ones are continuously being retired. Currently, China is acquiring military aircraft in good volume, and soon the number of aircrafts of both China and the US will become comparable. During war situations, the type of aircraft is important as well, and the US Air Force possesses aircraft that have a widely usability spectrum. The F-35 Lightning, F-22 Raptor, and the F-15 Eagle are all good enough to take pride in and maintain the US supremacy over the skies. The Chinese also have the J-20, but it is only considered as the poor man's version of the F-35. American pilots also train 20 to 30 more hours on average per year, as compared to their Chinese complements. Alright, now let's talk about the Navy, because the ones who maintain the supremacy on the ocean will have a clear-cut advantage in this war. The USA is the world's leader in terms of aircraft carriers, as they possess 11 of them, while China only has 2 that are combat-ready. The US Navy 10 Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carriers are the second largest aircraft carriers in the world. They are certainly one of the best breeds and flaunt all the features required by such battleships. The sole aircraft carrier in operation with China's People's Liberation Army Navy, the Type 001 aircraft carrier Lining, is the 5th largest aircraft carrier in the world. The US Navy also has around 430 naval ships of active and reserve duty, and only 300 of them can respond at a moment's notice. China, in terms of naval warships, lags behind the US, as the Chinese naval only has 335 of those, and not all of them can be deployed at a moment's notice if a war breaks out. There is one other aspect in which China leads the US, apart from the manpower, and that is the number of submarines. China has 74 of those, while the US has 66. But China is severely deficient in anti-submarine systems. You must have been wondering by now what would happen if war happened in lands. Well, it depends on the location of the war. The home nation will be automatically an advantage, because they have their replenishing service at an arm's grab. If such a war happens in China, the US troops will be in very big trouble because of China's huge manpower. Nowadays, such wars are not fought by depending on manpower. Rather, machinery is deployed. US can again devastate China because the US boasts a fleet of tanks that outnumbers China's. Some of the Chinese tanks date back to the Cold War era and now are obsolete in terms of technology. Talking about the most devastating type of war, for example, the nuclear war, China has around 350 nuclear warheads, which is almost nothing compared to the US mammoth 5,550. However, if a nuclear war fires up between the two, the human race would end before either of them could consume their respective total number of warheads. Fighting on land sounds too mainstream, right? And for sure, the future of war is brighter than that. Either way, they're going to be fought economically, or they're going to be fought in space. Let us get space out of the way first. The USA recently created a force named Space Force to safeguard US and allied interest in space. However, China is not lagging, as they have boosted up their space program, of which the number of Chinese satellites is a shred of evidence. China has around 105 military satellites, while the US has created 123, keeping in mind that the US has been in space for a longer time than China. Talking about economic perspectives, it is perhaps the best method to rule the world, and China is always making an effort to enhance its already huge economy. And the gap between the Chinese and the US economies is depleting with every passing day. Do let us know what you think about a war between these giants in the comments section down below. If you like this video, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more.